Yes, this is Mr. Controversy, and this is the infamous three-point conversion station. Keep it locked.
On this episode of Brownstown, USA, we discuss rookie minicamp, OBJ's outlandish comments, if you think they're outlandish, a very good prank on one of our AFC North rivals, 90-man roster, and, of course, some questions that you guys asked us during the week in our infamous doggy bag segment. Remember, Brownstown, USA is powered by the three-point conversion where fans' opinions matter. And without further ado, here's the show.
Got it back, cause I'm brown. So what's up? Coming at you live and direct. Yo, represent. For the South Town. With that new sound. As we get down.
From coast to coast, representing all the Dogtown. I coincidentally say that as both my dogs are looking at me. This is the Brownstown USA podcast, powered by the three-point conversion. The three-point conversion, where fans' opinions matter. I'm Eric, and over there is LA. LA!
What's going on, everybody? Brownstown, USA. And as always, thank you for listening and supporting us. Make sure, wherever you're listening to us on, give us a 5-star rating. And leave us a review. Let us know how we're doing. We're trying to, of course, make this show better and better every single time that we bring it to you. So, Eric, gotta go ahead and throw out there, man. Everybody knows, of course, I'm from Ohio and everything, born and raised. I've never had a reason to go into Michigan ever to step foot in there. Like, the rivalry is real when it comes to this. And I finally did that, broke the mold, went to Detroit. And I must say I came back actually very pleased with Detroit. A lot of great things going on. Yeah, a lot of great things going on. The one thing I will say, though, is that they want to keep Detroit drunk because there's literally a liquor store on every single block.
You know, it's funny. I was talking about that with somebody else today. It's just like, I think it wasn't Michigan. I think it was more, believe it or not, New Hampshire, where someone was saying that if you get off one of the exits, the first thing you see at most exits is a liquor store. I'm telling you, man, if you have that kind of stuff, why not? Go for it. Just be responsible with it, I guess.
Absolutely. But overall, though, I mean, it was beautiful sitting there at the water, being able to look over and see Canada. Haven't been to Canada yet, but something that I'm definitely going to check off the list soon. And, you know, going to see Motown and, you know, I mean, it was just a lot of great things that was going on down there. Plus, one thing you might like is that they had downtown where you could go up and they had this tent where it was like a free arcade. So you can go in there and just play any arcade game you want, no charge. So, of course, I got in there, got some vintage pinball in, played the Spider-Man game on the arcade, you know, some Street Fighter, air hockey, you know, stuff like that, man. So just overall a great time, and checked out a great food spot called Shake Shack. So if you're ever in that area or have a Shake Shack, kudos to y'all because that is amazing.
Seriously, man. I mean, Shake Shack, I haven't been yet, but I've heard nothing but good things about it.
Absolutely, man. Just great stuff. But speaking of shaking and baking, it looks like we had a rookie minicamp this past weekend, and I know that you actually were able to dive a little bit deeper than me in on this because, of course, I was out this weekend. Mm-hmm. So break it down for the fans. You know, let us know what you heard from rookie minicamp, what you've seen, just your overall reactions and comments to it.
Well, there's been a couple videos out of Greedy Williams, our second-round pick, doing both very well and getting burnt. Now, the video of him getting burnt, that shouldn't be a surprise to a lot of people because, well, he's a rookie. What else do you want him to do? Do you want him to be, like, do you want him to get it right away and then blow himself out immediately? As a rookie, if you aren't getting blown out, I would be more concerned for various reasons. But other than that, the early word on Twitter is that he also looked very smooth in plays not seen. So people, of course, are going to videotape the bad just to make fun of him for it. But early word is that he has looked very smooth. So I'd like to get your thoughts. Does any of that surprise you at all?
It really doesn't. Based off of the fact that DB is a difficult position to learn in the league, period, point blank. And DBs get burnt all the time. Now, of course, you want the ratio to be better between the two, but it's nothing that I wouldn't expect. We have some talent on this roster. I think it's going to make Greedy just way better. I think our defensive backs are going to be awesome. I mean, think about it. They're about to start OTAs next week, and they're going to be going up against Odell. You know, I'm not sure if we're expecting him at OTAs. I'm not sure. We'll have to check on that. But just in practice in general, my point is going up against Odell, Njoku, Callaway, Jarvis. I mean, that's a solid wide receiver core and just a core in general for offense. And I'm not worried about them getting burnt in practice because these are some elite people. So the teams that we're going to face aren't going to have that kind of talent. So it's only going to make them better. This whole overreaction thing for anything NFL, man, is just absolutely crazy. I mean, and this is just a problem in sports in general. But this whole overreaction thing, wanting to put out hot takes and stuff like that, I've seen a couple things on Twitter saying, oh, well, you know, Greedy might be a bust already. I'm like, come on, man. Like, you're doing this just to get likes or retweets because you can't absolutely think that at all. Now, the one thing I did want to talk to you about that I seen that was reported, because another defensive back that we have, Redwine, I think that was a very, very interesting story between about how Sean Taylor's dad is training Redwine and how he looked up to Sean Taylor. I don't know about you, man, but that made me extremely excited because we all know what type of player Sean Taylor was. Definitely gone too soon. But we know what kind of player he was, and to have a guy on our squad that not only has a chip on his shoulder because of where he's been drafted, but then also has that type of motivation behind him. I mean, what did you think when you seen that reported?
You know, one of the first things I thought when that happened is that, well, when I first saw that happen, I thought that it was a great thing. I mean, growing up, I was a huge Miami Hurricanes fan. My dad grew up loving the U, so yeah, I gotta give him the credit for that. Taylor was one hell of a player, though. 3 years in the league, and the guy knew how to play. And the crazy thing is, well, he played with not relatively unknown people. The first one that we know of is that he obviously learned underneath, I believe it was Blake as the defensive coordinator before learning from Greg Williams. But here's the thing about just Taylor in general. Think about where he went to college. People always talk about how Ohio State puts out great players, which I'm not saying they don't. Think about the U at that time, though. You had to compete against Ed Reed for a safety job. If you wanted to be a cornerback, you had a few other people they had to compete against as well, and they were not easy. If you remember, that team that ended up losing to Ohio State had so many first-round and drafted players, it's not even funny. So if that's the type of player you want to learn from, if that's the type of player you want to learn from their dad, take all the help you can get because as much as I hate to say it, you don't know what Demarius Randall's future is going to be. You don't know what's going to happen with Morgan Burnett. Take the deal.
Got you. Yeah, I think Morgan is there for Morgan to fill a spot at the time until somebody else can rise up and take his spot. And who knows, maybe he gets on the field a lot quicker than we all suspect. But I think Morgan is there to hold the place, until somebody else rises or until we get somebody else better via trade or something. Demarius Randall, to me, he seems in good spirits. I've been seeing him tweet like crazy these past couple of days just about other things in life and all of that. But I think he's okay. The one thing is that monitoring athletes' social media, it's like everybody always connects what they're going through to their contract situation or something that has to do with the team. And a lot of times it's not even about that. So I try not to read into it too much. And I think Randall's in a good spot right now. So before we go to our first break, you have standouts here. Who stood out to you? I know it's kind of hard because, again, it's kind of limited as far as media when it comes to rookie minicamp. And then, of course, we brought in a bunch of undrafted free agents. And, I mean, just everybody was there to kind of, try out and see if they can make that 90-man roster. So did anybody stand out to you?
Well, there were obviously a few. Obviously, we talked about Grady earlier in the show. It's impossible not to talk about him. That's just case in point the situation. Another kid that I was watching was Dean, that was undrafted. I don't know if you've seen the name at all, but he's another cornerback. Obviously, he's slated behind Donnie Lewis, but I wouldn't sleep on the kid. He was spending a lot of time with Freddie from what I was seeing in some of the videos. So that usually is a pretty good sign in and of itself. A lot of people have been talking about this kid, Harvey. I've seen a lot of people talking about Wyatt Ray, which right now linebacker is still a position that isn't completely carved out at this juncture. And defensive ends, hey, I'm going to say it. We can always use more defensive ends, especially now that Ogba's gone, now that we don't have someone to take over that spot. The fact of the matter is, while we probably will see a more explosive Myles Garrett because Steve Wilks wants to unleash him, it doesn't mean that we can't have rotational players at this point. The other name that I will be honest about is this kid Gray, who is actually a fullback. So it'll be interesting to see. I know that fullbacks we can't really talk much about, but, the way that Freddie Kitchens has found ways to make players look sensational, I wouldn't be surprised to see the fullback return, and I'm not talking about Orson Charles here.
Gotcha. Well, there you have it. Like I said, Eric was definitely tracking this rookie minicamp for me, especially me being out on vacay this past weekend. If you guys are wanting or want to know more about the rookie minicamp, there is actually a great video of it on Building the Browns on YouTube. So just search for the Cleveland Browns YouTube page, and you'll see Building the Browns, and they kind of highlight the rookie minicamp from this past weekend. So when we come back, we will talk about OBJ's comments. Man, those are juicy. And then also a guy that we may have to build a statue of, man. I mean, just did something of epic proportions, and I can't wait to discuss that with you as well. This is Brownstown, USA. We'll be right back.
They better have the firefighters on standby because that city is about to burn down. That is a Brownstown, and they can feel it and they can taste it right now.
Brownstown, USA, powered by the 3-Point Conversion. Make sure you follow Brownstown, USA on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, at Brownstown, USA. We have a fan page on Facebook. We also have a group page there where you can get in there and talk stuff and do what you got to do as long as you keep it classy. So always accepting new members, always wanting to talk Browns. So make sure you follow us on all your major social media outlets. Also, the 3-Point Conversion is who we're powered by. So make sure you check out the 3pointconversion.com. Great articles being written over there. Some by my man Eric himself. So he's doing his thing there too. And then follow the 3-Point Conversion on all your social media outlets as well at 3PTCNVRSN. It's where fans' opinions matter. Now, let's get into it, man. OBJ comes out, makes some comments, and the world just gets set aflame. And we knew this would happen. OBJ is one of the most popular NFL players out there. We knew what would happen when he came to us. But the thing that I want to kind of set before I get your opinion on this comments is that Freddie Kitchens had a presser a few days ago before OBJ made the comments. And in the presser, Freddie Kitchens basically said, look, we don't care about the hype. We're just out here trying to, basically get these wins, do it on the field. We haven't proven anything yet. 7-8-1, whoop the hell, as he liked to say. And that's kind of how it was. He said, hey, I want everybody to put their head down, work hard, and let's just go out there and prove it on the field. Now, several days later, OBJ at the, I believe it's called the Meta Gala or something like that, some big thing where all the celebrities come out and wear weird stuff, and we all gawk over them on how beautiful they look and all this other crap. He actually showed up with a kilt on, which was definitely an interesting choice, but not too many people can pull it off, and he did. So, OBJ in the kilt said that he basically plans on for the next 5 years to be here with the Browns. And he is looking forward to building this Browns team into the next New England Patriots. And then he also had another comment, too, that we're going to get into. But that comment right there, I plan on being there for the next 5 years, turning the Browns into the new Patriots. Eric, what do you got?
I think a lot of people over-exaggerated this whole thing. I mean, let me just say that because, well, I just remember seeing the talk show hosts, the commentators, the analysts come out and say, is he saying that they're going? No, he's saying he wants to make them. If you don't go into that mindset at least, what are you doing? Everybody wants to be the Patriots. Nobody's going to come in and say, I want to be the next Oakland Raiders. I want to be the next Houston Texans. I want to be the next Jacksonville Jaguars. Nobody wants to be those. You know why? Because they sucked for nearly the past 20 years. Sure, you have playoff appearances. How many Super Bowls have they had in that time, though? Everybody wants to be the Patriots. If Odell Beckham's coming into a situation that's seen struggles, then I'm going to be honest with you. If he's not going to try to raise that standard, if he's not going to come in and say something like that, just wake up the team, then I have absolutely no problem with him saying it. If he's coming out and guaranteeing it, that's a different story. But for right now, it's all talk. So I got no issues. Everybody should want to be like the Patriots.
Right, and that's the thing, like I said before, we always react off of headlines. We don't really read into it. We don't really grasp what was being said, and this is another example of it. He wants to turn the Browns into the new Patriots, basically saying, look, paying homage to one of the best teams that's been out there for years, and I want this organization to be that. No way is he saying we are the Patriots. I mean, and like you said, a lot of hosts was like, shut up and beat the Bengals first. Well, newsflash, we swept them last season. So next, a lot of people are saying, win the AFC North. I get it. We do. But I'm not about to sit up here and want my players to come in and say, I just want to get over 500 this season. Like, who wants to hear that? Aim for the stars. Because as they say, you aim for the stars, you can hit anything in between that. The sky's the limit with this team. And basically he's excited. And then also, too, what many people don't want to realize is that those same cats that was talking about the narrative that he was unhappy to be here, now they want to turn around and bash him for being excited to be here. Make up your mind and stop chasing the ratings and the clicks and all this other crap and just report on some natural news. People are getting sick of this chasing the crazy headline thing. People just want some good news, report on it, report your opinions, and go from there. We don't have to agree with your opinions, but this whole outlandish crap and wanting to dog the player for saying something and being excited, it's just absolutely stupid, man. And I'm getting fed up with it. But Beckham also came out and said that he believes in his quarterback. He said that his quarterback, he feels, could be the next Brett Favre and be a Hall of Famer. Eric, how do you feel about that comment and as far as putting and comparing Baker to Brett Favre?
Didn't we just go over this last year? Literally last year around this time. I don't remember who exactly said it, but this was at a time when We were even talking about it, I believe, the week after the Raiders or after the Bengals, when people were already comparing him to Drew Brees or Brett Favre. This is nothing new to me. This is something that we've heard before. This was as early as the draft, the comparisons to him. Look, the fact of the matter is, Baker has that potential. I'm not going to sit here and bash any other quarterback right now, but he has a chance to carve out a legacy. And you know what? If Odell Beckham can do this, if he can inspire confidence in him, let him. I mean, if you remember, he did the same thing to Eli, but Eli at that point was already a lost cause, I hate to say it.
Yeah, and I have my reservations about Eli overall, his career and all that anyway, but I'm not going to get into that because this is a Browns show. But I like his confidence in his quarterback. They were already good friends anyway, so the continuity is going to be there. I'm very excited about that, and I can't really disagree with him. I mean, I wouldn't really compare Baker to a Brett Favre because they're different, and I know that Baker is like a gunslinger, but he's a lot more accurate than Brett is at this point in time. So, I don't mind him, breaking records and stuff like that, but let's not forget that Favre also broke records for the most interceptions and stuff like that too. So it's kind of like you didn't know what Brett Favre you were going to get that week, because Brett Favre could come out and throw 6 touchdowns, but he could also come out and throw you 6 interceptions. So I would just hope Baker remains to be, accurate and, doesn't turn the ball over as much. But, hey, Hall of Fame, I'm cool with that, us having a Hall of Fame quarterback. Now, you brought to my attention a couple of days ago, and I didn't actually understand what I was looking at first when I seen the pictures, and then when I finally went back to look again, I was like, wow, that's crazy. But a Browns fan was in Baltimore, and he hung a Baker Mayfield, what was it, a poster, a banner of Baker Mayfield over Ravens Stadium, and of course immediately went viral. I'm okay with the fun, the poking the fun. This is what gets stuff going again, right? The rivalry, because honestly, we haven't had a rivalry. That people ask Browns fans all the time, who do you hate more, the Ravens or the Steelers, which I feel is like a stupid question because, of course, we're going to hate the Ravens more. They took our team. But we haven't had a rivalry with the Ravens or the Steelers because we've been getting our butts kicked. So anything out there that we can get this going again, I'm all the way down for. As long as nobody got hurt or anything like that, I'm cool with. But what do you think of the prank?
This is honestly what I love about Cleveland. A few years ago, you may remember, we had an incident where somebody was so excited the Browns beat the Steelers in Cleveland that somebody went to such an extreme that's disturbing. I don't know if you remember that incident at all, where they went to Art Modell's grave.
Oh, yeah.
Like, stuff like that, just no. I mean, there's a fine line. Let's say that this ruler I have right here is the line. Look, the fact of the matter is, there's a fine line to cross, and that just jumped the gun so far it's not even funny. Now, something like this, I don't mind because this is where the fun of the rivalry comes in. Of course we hate the Ravens more than the Steelers. I mean, I'm surprised that when they hired the new general manager, they didn't put a Jarvis Landry jersey in that office. I'm surprised that fans aren't doing more. As long as it's legal, go out and do something. Annoy the Ravens fans. Seriously, they've had the laughing, and they've had the last laugh how long? And right now, I'm going to be honest with you. While we still have the chance to say we have a better quarterback than y'all, you got to take advantage of it right now.
Yeah. And let's not forget, we did lose that matchup against them, last year. Still.
Who cares? We beat them in the game, too.
Got it. But, And then again, like, these aren't just stupid franchises, man. I mean, they made some moves this offseason. We'll get into that more as the season approaches, as far as like how, our AFC counterparts have upgraded their rosters, and we'll break that down when we break down the AFC North. But they're not going to just be any pushovers, and they're not going to hand us the AFC North crown. So it's definitely going to be a battle, and I expect it to be really fun. And, it's just good to have a team that we know we can march out on the field and have fun, win or lose, compared to before where it was kind of like, oh, well, this is going to be a loss. We already know this is going to be a loss. You know what I mean? Because we suck so bad. So at the end of the day, I'm cool. Have fun out there, guys, with the rivalries. But again, don't do anything crazy. Please keep your bodily fluids to yourself. And, don't let anybody get hurt. And then we'll continue on going about our business. But we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk the 90-man roster that Eric so awesomely put up on our page, Brownstown USA fan page on Facebook. Make sure you check that out. Give us a like. But he put up a post there about the 90-man roster. So we'll definitely ask him about that. And then we'll also hop into your doggy bag questions, which got an overwhelming response this week. So thank you guys for participating. So we'll answer those, and then we'll get up out of here. But we're going to take this break. We'll be right back. Brownstown, USA.
I'm Larry Gajobi from the Cleveland Browns. I'm rocking with the 3-Point Conversion Radio.
And we are back, Brownstown, USA, again, powered by the 3-Point Conversion, where fans' opinions matter. Like I said, follow 3-Point Conversion at 3PTCNBRSN. And shout out to the 3-Point Conversion team out there, always hustling, writing articles, going to games, doing things. We got some big things coming up. WNBA season is going to be starting up soon. We also had a Big 3 that's going to be starting up soon, so we'll be covering that as well. And then just anything else that we sprinkle in that we can get into, we're going to be there, of course, planning right now for the Pro Football Hall of Fame again. Can't wait to get back into there. That's coming up as well. It'll be right here before you know it. But let's get into this, man. You made an interesting post of the 90-man roster, and you said, people were focusing more on the ratings that they were giving the players instead of focusing on the players on the team. So what did you get from this 90-man roster? What made you want to post it? Like, where'd you find it?
Well, it comes from somebody on Twitter that we do follow. He's very close. Well, I don't know if he's very close, but he's a huge follower with the Browns. Gonna give him a little love here at Chad P71.
My guy. Yep.
Your guy.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, nice. But he posted this whole thing, and the one thing, what made me want to post it was just the fact that we have just finished rookie minicamp. We signed some undrafted free agents. Now, there's definitely time for players to be either moved or traded or what have you. But it gives a good indication of what to expect going forward. Because as you said, OTAs are coming up. And there are players that people want to watch. I mean, I know a lot of people wanted to see Darian Baker. They wanted to see Tate. They wanted to see – I'm going to screw this name up badly. I'm just going to say it right now. I apologize if I mess this up. Fincan Ganofo. I've heard people bring that name up. But the fact of the matter is, it's just exciting right now just to see something like that. But this is where the other big thing comes from. As you alluded to, people were focused on the grades. It's fun to speculate grades, see who should be ranked higher or lower. I think people focus way too much on it because people were complaining about how Chubb shouldn't be rated higher than Kareem Hunt. But the fact of the matter is, it's just good to see this potential depth chart up here. So I got to give him credit for that. I love it myself.
Yeah, I mean, 90-man roster, I get it. To be crazy enough, it doesn't really interest me that much because I know we have to trim it down to 53, and we haven't really had any big significant things go down yet. It's still way, way too early. So I get that, a lot of Browns fans out there are very excited about the season. So any little bit of Browns things that they can get, they're going to get it. They're going to chew on it. They're going to break it down because we're excited, and I get it. But I see 90 men. I'm like, yo, look, I get it. There's going to be a lot of guys that's going to get cut. I'm not going to even know who they are. Then we're going to see more people get brought in as well. So you're going to see a lot of mixing and matching and just trying to figure out what's that best roster when it comes to this season. So not really looking into that. Again, OTAs, like you said, is coming up next week. So, different things will start going on then. We're also going to see teams start cutting people too. We're going to see teams cutting veterans, maybe even different rookies or undrafted free agents that they brought in. We know Dorsey loves going to that pool of people that got cut and picking and choosing from that as well. So the evaluation never stops, and the path to get better never stops when it comes to Dorsey. He's always looking at any way to upgrade any type of position. So not really looking into this 90-man roster as deep as everybody else is, but I get it. And again, thanks very much, providing great content for the fans as always. But without further ado, man, let's get into this doggy bag. Reach into that bag of yours, man, and let us know what you got.
Let's see. What do I got? Okay, I don't know where this picture of TJ Ward came from, but I think I'm just going to throw that into the burn pile. Here we go. What is your opinion on the kicking/punting competition?
My opinion.
If you have one.
Yeah, I was gonna say I really don't have one yet. I like Colquitt. He's been like a fan favorite, and then the way that CBD always brings him on, and they have like this segment, like they be like Britton Cole, and they just have him on there. He seems like a cool dude, so I wouldn't mind him staying on the team. He's not a bad punter whatsoever. So I definitely like him. As far as the kicker situation, I honestly feel the rookie's going to win it out because they're not going to spend a fifth round. So unless he absolutely just has a meltdown during these these trainings and mini camp and stuff like that, I don't see I see the rookie going in there and winning out that kicker position.
I got to agree on a couple ends here. First off, I don't really have too much of an opinion. The fact of the matter is special teams is important, but you're putting a former Pro Bowler versus a guy named the Scottish Hammer who played rugby. Now, that's cool and all. I don't mind a punter that can hit. We definitely need that because, well, why not? But if it means sacrificing distance, I don't know. I mean, it's going to be a very hard move to really unseat Colquitt. As for the kicker, this is where it gets interesting, but at the same time, it's not the position battle I'm watching for, and I'm saying get your popcorn ready for. To be quite frank, Siebert could get the job. Joseph, I think, could get the job, but again, for lack of a better word, at this point, I don't really care just because, well, no matter what, it's not like we're seeing Adam Vinatieri versus Mike Vanderjagt, or we're seeing Greg Joseph, who actually was a pretty decent kicker when you look into it, versus a rookie who was a pretty decent kicker.
Absolutely. What do you got next?
Let's see. Can Kitchens handle all the talent and ego in the locker room? How difficult of a job will it be?
I don't think it'll be that difficult of a job for him just because of how his personality is. Kitchens seems really genuine, very real. And when you have that, the bigger personalities, no matter how alpha they are, if the person is real, they gravitate to that and they listen to that. The time when you see an alpha male buck back when it comes to personality and stuff is because they feel like somebody is being fake. That's like the number one thing that will set an alpha personality off. And Kitchens just doesn't come off like that at all. He seems like he's real. He doesn't need to be the brightest light in the room. So therefore, even though he is the head, he doesn't have to do what Hugh Jackson did. And that was one of the things we said on the show when Hard Knocks was on, that I had a problem with was that Hugh Jackson had to come out and say, well, I'm the head coach. You know what I'm saying? So whatever it is, we'll figure it out. I'm the head coach. Freddie don't have to say that, man. He carries his head coach or his title. I mean, right there. I mean, he doesn't have to say it. It just comes out, and it is what it is, and everybody's going to follow him. And when he's able to be in the ear of Baker Mayfield, all that other stuff is going to just pan out because people look to Baker as well. So I think Kitchens will do a very good job with everything. And I don't see a problem with it because the same thing with Dorsey. Dorsey doesn't like to be in the spotlight either. And when you got two front office pieces like that, and actually the whole entire front office, Alonzo, none of them likes to be in the limelight. And that's really where you see it with franchises where they bump heads, right? Because the coach is so trying to be in front of the cameras and answer questions, and then they bleed out their athletes. Or you got a Jerry Jones who has a radio show and is always announcing and saying what he's going to do. So he's going to butt heads with those other alpha males. I don't see that at all with this Browns organization.
No, I mean, I think you're absolutely right on this one. However, here's my big thing with that. I think people are completely overestimating this whole thing. Look, the whole OBJ thing, does he have an ego? Yes, but the thing is, most of the ego came out because the team wasn't winning and because it seemed like Eli didn't trust him. I mean, that's something that people need to realize, just going with that one example. We saw last year Jarvis didn't have that much of an ego when we were being told that, he's an egomaniac. No. I don't believe that there's going to be too much of an ego problem here. There might be one or two people that will get sniffed out for it, but again, we're talking about someone that can actually work with egos. You're working, and after all, he's worked with Bruce Arians, someone who's right now considered one of the best coaches to return to the league. He worked with Nick Saban, who's considered the best coach in college football. So you don't think there's an ego there? I'm sure he's handled ego before.
Absolutely. And again, we've seen with Dorsey, besides the obvious, like, Baker, OBJ, Jarvis, some of the main pieces, we already know that if Dorsey sniffs any kind of dysfunction, he's going to just eradicate it. I mean, we've seen it with the Hugh Jackson and Ty Haley stuff. I mean, he's not playing no games. Like, he will get it out no matter what. So, or if it's just, can you imagine being summoned to John Dorsey's office because you said something on the media and he has to sit down and talk with you? I mean, that's like, that would probably be like the top 10 most terrifying things to have to, deal with. And I know I'm a grown man, he's a grown man, but at the end of the day, he just comes off as that, like, grandpa, that's disappointed, and you're kind of like, oh, shoot, I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think people want to deal with that.
I mean, we saw it last year with Antonio Callaway. Like, literally, if you remember during Hard Knocks, he had the problem where they found marijuana in his car. And then, if you remember, Dorsey was stern. He was asking the situation. He was, exactly as you said, that grandpa that caught you trying to steal booze out of the liquor cabinet. And you know what? He was fair about it. He asked why he was trying to do it, all that stuff. Tried to get the truth out of him. And this is when I honestly thought that we first saw the signs that Hugh Jackson was a bit of a pushover, because he's just sitting there in the corner just like, I'm staying out of this. He was essentially the mother that was like, you can get away with it, just don't let it affect me.
Absolutely. So, what else we got?
Let's see. What DT free agent do you think, if any, we should get? I believe one more, even an aging DT with good skills, would allow us to rotate the defensive line like the Cowboys did in the 90s. Like, I think we already know who he's thinking of in that regard.
Who, sir?
No, but if I had to take a guess, I think he's saying maybe and either go for Sue, like you said, or trade for Gerald McCoy. But you know what? I don't know if I really want to go after anybody right now. I mean, look, I wouldn't be opposed to it if the deal was right, but Gerald McCoy is probably the one name that's been linked to us the most at that position. I don't see Sue coming to Cleveland.
Yeah, I think Sue is waiting for the right situation. I think also, too, he doesn't want to go through the camps. And that thing right there for me is like, just go ahead and sign with the Patriots or something, dude. Like, I don't really care. That's not what's needed for this type of team right now. Hopefully, we get to form into a team like the Patriots where we are winning all the time. So then we'll see more of that as a normality where we just get veterans in just to add pieces, to put us over the top. But with Sud, like I said, I think he's just waiting out the right situation and don't want to go through all the camps and stuff like that. And I understand, especially with him being the age that he is now. As far as Gerald McCoy, older as well, I'm not opposed to Gerald McCoy, but again, I'm not starving like how we used to be where we're like, man, we got to go out and get this free agent. I kind of feel like the way we are with this team right now is like we made our major additions, and now it's just time to sit back and let it gel, and if somebody else happens to come, okay, cool, but let's not, upset the apple cart, or let's not, shake it up too much just to get a name in here, because I think one thing we realized about Dorsey as well is that it's not all about names with him. He's actually looking for people that's going to fit because, remember, we were just debating on what safety was going to come in, and we still see Trey Boston and we still see Eric Berry out there as free agents.
And funny enough, CBS was predicting that we get Berry.
Yeah, I've seen that we're still projected to get him, but at the end of the day, I think I'm not saying Berry won't show up here, but I think if Dorsey really, really wanted the guy, he would have been here already. Like, he would have made it happen. And that proves to me that it's like he's not just looking for a name. He's looking for the scheme and the fit. You know what I'm saying? And remember, I told you before, I like Morgan better than everybody because I just thought Morgan would fit in a little bit better as far as what we needed for that safety position there. So, again, I'll be okay with McCoy coming. I'm not going to be like, ew, but I'm not begging or wanting, like, absolutely need him here.
Yeah, like, I'm looking at the free people that are available right now. Everyone knows Ndamukong Suh, but, like, is really anybody knocking at the door to bring in Alan Bailey or Muhammad Wilkerson or Haloti Ngata or Danny Shelton again?
No, or they would have got picked up already. Again, like I said, a lot of these free agents now, the veterans, that like we're starting to see them get up there, and these are the tier of people that either they're going to sign with the right situation after all the camps are over, or we're going to see them retire. Like it's pretty much starting to get to that wave where we're about to see a whole nother wave of big names start to retire again. And I mean, that's just the way of life, the circle of life in the NFL. But that's why I feel like those names are still out there, but they're not going to provide the impact I feel that their name does. You know what I mean? Like they're past that part.
Yep.
So anything else in the bag, or are we all empty?
We got two more, but we can do one more if you want. What do you want to do? You want to do one or both?
No, let's just get them all knocked out.
Okay, should Wilks stick with his traditional use of the secondary or bend it to fit our current personnel?
I feel like that's kind of a trick question. Every coach has their philosophy. I looked up Wilks' defense. He's been in the top 10, if not in the top 3, for a while as far as his defense. Even the Cardinals' defense when he was out there with them were good. So, and then of course when he was with the Panthers, they were good too.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a catch-22 because of course he's gonna have his philosophy, but I think that they built and brought in the personnel, and I think that's the reason why Wilks signed on with the Browns is because he felt like, hey, they got the personnel that I need in order to make my defense happen. It's not like how we seen before where we were juggling coaches, and every time we got a new defensive coordinator, we shipped out like 7 or 8 of our defensive starters because they weren't the guy, for that scheme. This time that didn't happen. Wilkes signed on, and then they just kept on trucking like nothing ever happened. And all we did was just add more depth. That's all. So I think really at the end of the day, it's going to be a good fit because you didn't see that many personnel being shipped off.
Absolutely. I mean, the fact of the matter is, coaches, especially coordinators, are always changing. They're always developing. They always have different schemes and ideas in mind. So if you're really thinking that Wilkes isn't at least willing to work with the players to try to get them to match up with this scheme, then I don't know if you really know how to coach football at this point. All right, so the last question we have is, we're not hearing much about Duke Johnson. We all know that he has to be traded. Will this happen, or will he be used in another capacity?
I think at this point in time, he'll just be using another capacity. Again, Kareem isn't back until week 8, so we definitely don't have to worry about that for now. But as, again, what Freddie Kitchen said at his presser, Duke is under contract, period, point blank. That's it. So, you know, they want him there. They want him to contribute to the football team. I think Duke should. I haven't really seen anything crazy as far as him posting on social media, except for that I know he's really taken up cooking. So he makes some great stuff on Instagram. Wow. But other than that, it seems like everything's pretty quiet on the forefront. We'll start seeing this stuff heat up, though. Like I said, as OTAs and training camp come about, because then you'll start to hear who didn't show up and who showed up and all this other crap. And if he decides to say, I'm not going to show up, then I'm sure we'll see the stuff heat up again and we'll hear the rumors. But as of right now, nothing's really going on. So there's nothing really to comment on Duke right now until that stuff happens.
Absolutely. I mean, the thing is, well, for one, we don't know if this was put out by Duke or if it was put out by his agent. I mean, Duke can show up, but the key word through all of this has been voluntary. These are not
Well, the report I seen was that his representation told the Browns that he wanted to be traded.
All right. So, but again, that's his representation. That's not necessarily him. I mean, the fact of the matter is, considering that we're seeing running backs essentially get more and more carries, getting more use like that, the fact of the matter is with Duke Johnson, he's a valuable back and he's going to have more of a capacity. As you said, Hunt doesn't come back till week 8. And at this point, I wouldn't even be surprised if it got lower than that because of all the work he's doing. I'm going to be honest with you. But the fact of the matter is, I do think that until it really becomes a problem, then you don't have to take care of it. Like, it's not like we're seeing Duke come out and just say, trade me now every week. It's not like we're seeing him cause a disruption. He's still interacting with teammates on, like, Twitter, if I remember correctly. Like, the fact of the matter is, if he's still doing stuff like that, it's not as serious of a situation as people are painting it out to be.
Absolutely. So, again, guys, thank you for the doggy bag questions. We'll throw it out again. I'll say maybe we should do this every other week or so just so that we don't bleed out all the questions. But, again, OTAs is starting next week, so we'll be back to discuss that. And then, of course, if OBJ decides that he wants to do any more comments or anything crazy, then we'll go from there. Also, too, congratulations to Joe Thomas, man, for, getting signed on the NFL Network full time. He'll be covering the post and pregame shows of Thursday Night Football. Heard him on CBD a little bit earlier before we hopped on our show. He's definitely very excited about it. He's definitely enjoying California life right now, and he's just loving it. And he deserves it. He's definitely a good guy, definitely very personable. If you watch him, definitely check him out. He's definitely very personable, knows what he's talking about. The only thing I was kind of nervous with Joe on was this, that I know he was so keyed in on the Browns. And, of course, with his Tomahawk show, that's definitely the right thing for him. But I was nervous about the NFL Network because they brought him on initially as a Browns specialist. And then after that, like, now they're going to bring him on permanently. And I'm just like, man, hopefully he studies up, gets everything straight. But, of course, he's the guy that can do it if anybody can do it. So I'm definitely proud of Joe Thomas.
Absolutely. I mean, Joe Thomas, let's be honest, he's the guy. I mean, he's the Kevin Millar of Cleveland. So I'll drink to that, man. And you know what? Congrats, Joe. Next time we see you, hopefully your number will be hanging in the rafters.
Absolutely. And then again, too, Mother's Day is coming up this weekend. So happy Mother's Day from Brownstown, USA to all the mothers, grandmothers, great-grandmothers, and everything in between. Also to those stepmothers and also to those aunties that don't have kids but treat your kids as their mother, act like a mother. You know, whatever it is, congratulations. Happy Mother's Day to everybody from Brownstown, USA. Again, guys, thank you for listening. We're on all your major podcasting platforms, Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, wherever you want to find us, Spreaker, we're there. Just leave us a rating. Let us know how we're doing, and we appreciate your support. We will be back next week with another Brownstown USA.
Take care and go Browns. Woof, woof.
Never die.